I I just found something to be very interesting. Not including your experience, but me, Mike, and Jewel experiences with racism about being called a nigger, right? That's the word that was used. So, if that's the word that's being used, this is a derogatory slur. I mean, and I don't want to go off on a tangent and take the conversation into a whole new direction. But if that's what's being used, how do we in turn around and embrace that? And then wind up using that word, amongst ourselves. Now it becomes a term of endearment, right? Because this is the word that you use. This is the word that was used for me. This is the word that was used for you. This is your first experience with racism. So then now how does the word nigger become something that we reclaim? It's a slur. Right. How does it become something now that we reclaim?
I think society has done that to us to make us think that it's okay, because there's no other ethnic group that has a derogatory word that uses as a term.
You're absolutely right
as a term of endearment. So I think society, and I'm not going to say the man, but I mean, I just think I'm going to say society has made us think that it's okay to call each other nigger.
And then what does that say about internalized racism, right? Because it's internalized, because Jimmy's experience was about colorism. And I also have experience about colorism, right? I don't necessarily remember it, but like I said, my father always recalls this incident. He says I was only in about the second grade, where I came home and I said that I wanted to be a light-skinned black girl. I wanted to have green eyes, and I wanted to have long hair. I don't remember that, but I do remember putting a towel on my head and putting a little bubble on the towel and acting like I had long hair. I remember that. I don't remember outwardly saying that I wanted to be a light-skinned black girl, but my father says that I did come home and say that. So colorism, it runs rampant in our community. So, I mean, these things are internalized.
Exactly.
So, I think, is it okay to use nigger? How does that become a term of endearment?
I never fell for that trap, personally. It's more of a habit at this point, right. Unfortunately. Right. I never necessarily got into. There's a whole lot that goes into that. Like we went to a talk one time, and the speaker, I forgot his name, said like, we're the only people who walk into a bank, and there's a black teller, right? And we have a bad experience with the black teller, and we walk away and say black people ain't shit. Mm-hmm. Like, if a white person walks into a bank, or any other type of person, and they walk into a bank and they have a bad experience with somebody that's from their own ethnic background or whatever, have makeup, they don't walk away and be like, Asian people ain't shit, white people ain't shit. I just think it's just so it's an internalized hate that at some point we have to face.
But I mean, I sent you the link before. Dr. Joy talks about that. The post-traumatic slave disorder. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we have to acknowledge, and we have to acknowledge it, number one, and then we have to figure out a way to, I guess, overcome it, like figure out a way to not have these feelings, because we've never gotten help, or we've never gotten help over these issues, and we have issues.
That segues into a whole nother thing, because as far as getting help, that's not something that we do. Like, what's the meme that we put up the other day? I need to go to therapy. And it's like, no, don't go to therapy. Pray about it. So therapy is a whole nother story. So when you start talking about therapy for something that, and I'm not one of these people that say it was a long time ago, but that's what people tell you. It was 400 years ago or whatever have you. Even though black people in this country been abused up to like yesterday. Right, up to like half hour ago.
Just ended like 45 years ago. So anyway.
Absolutely. So, but therapy is something that we don't embrace for traumatic things that happen in your community.
Exactly.
I mean, like, let's be honest. We all see the numbers of gun violence in places like Chicago and New York City and Brooklyn. Or
but
whatever
even that, I tell Ruby all the time. I mean, to me, there's more issues than that. There's no community centers anymore. I mean, there's nothing for these kids to do. there's no basketball leagues. There's no, due to lack of funding, there's so many things that's just been eliminated from the black community that all children have to do is get in trouble.
Right.
Their parents, you got single parent households or even two family household where people are working. They're working while kids are going to school, and when they get out of school, they're still working. So they have nothing to do but sit up there and hang out with their friends, you know? Sit up there. There's nothing for them to do in order to for extracurricular activities, and that causes a problem.